Hey everyone, and welcome back to Set Yourself Free podcast, where we explore stories of resilience, transformation, and the power of reclaiming your life. You know who it is. It's me. I'm your host. And today, Cleo Michael, sorry, I didn't even tell y'all who I was. I'm so excited to get started. I forgot to tell y'all who I am. I am your host, Cleo Michael, and today we have an incredible guest who is going to share his journey of transformation with us. Again, this is episode 4. And before we get started, guys, I'm going to allow you guys to learn a little bit more about Set Yourself Free with my AI motion.
Are you ready to break free from life's chains? Welcome to the Set Yourself Free podcast, now live in the metaverse. Discover powerful strategies to overcome challenges, boost your confidence, and unlock your full potential. From conquering the fear of success to managing holiday blues, we've got you covered. Learn how to let go of emotional baggage, practice proactive crisis management, and celebrate yourself with positive affirmations. Join us on this transformative journey and discover the freedom within you. Set yourself free, your guide to a happier, healthier you. Visit our metaverse studio today and start your liberation.
All right, guys, and welcome back. That was phenomenal. Hope you guys like my AI motion works. But listen, wherever you are right now, I invite you to come in and listen to us live in the metaverse by going to setyourselffree.io. Just click on the first button that you see and join us live in the metaverse so we can interact with each other and have an amazing time, and you get the first-hand access to Pierre and hear his story. So, without further ado, let me introduce my guest to you guys today. Joining us is Piere Ingram. He is a poet, an author, an entrepreneur, and the CEO and founder of New Life Poetry, um, New Life Poetry Live. Pierre's story is one that is going to really be informative for you guys. After experiencing trauma, addiction, and the loss of both of his parents, he found healing through poetry and is using it as a tool for self-expression and recovery. So today, without further ado, I am going to introduce to you Piere Ingram. Hey,
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to join you today. I'm excited because after all the things that was working for me, I came out on the other side to be able to express myself and touch people's minds and hearts. So I just want to thank you for allowing me to come on here today to share some of my journey with the audience. I appreciate you, Cleo.
Thank you, Pierre. And I didn't want to share too much because I wanted you to kind of be the one to share your story. So we're gonna start off with that, okay? Start by telling us a little bit about your journey, what life was like growing up in Cleveland, and how these early experiences shaped you.
Well, in Cleveland, growing up as a child, we moved from house to house, from my grandparents' house to when my dad would he would get us a house with him and my mom, which was his wife, and we would just move around from different places. Sometimes we would stay with my grandma, and we'd stay with my grandfather, or you know, or there would be good periods of decades where it's just me and my brothers and sisters and my mom and my dad. So we grew up. They were good parents. Like they was always teaching us stuff about um, how we could become good people and what to do, and about teaching us about God and how to become um, God fearing adults and just living a life of just living a good life of good, being a good person and being good people. But somewhere through that time, uh, I was affected by
Wow.
to um, addiction and alcoholism because of the trauma. Because when I would tell anyone about it, no one really believed me. So I turned to poetry as a form of expressing myself and talking to God.
And thank you for sharing that. It sounds like, when you first started, you had parents that really instilled in you a pretty strong foundation. But
Yeah.
while doing that, you experienced that trauma at just 5 years old, and that led you into addiction. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did that whole process begin?
Oh, the whole process was just me acting out in school, me hanging out
Okay.
with the wrong people, and
Mm,
dealing with a lot of things in my mind, uh, dealing about old thoughts of being at my grandfather's house where my mom and dad was go and just wanted to spend time alone. They would take me to my grandfather's house, and when they would leave, I was being molested in the closet, locked in the closet. Afterwards, afterwards, um, afterwards, my grandfather would beat me and tell me to go to sleep and throw the covers over my head, and that led to my addiction and hanging out with the wrong people. And eventually, I started smoking weed. That led to drinking at the age of like 16, and that led to me really uh, just showing out and didn't know how to express myself until I knew uh, that I can use my gift of poetry to do it, and not in a negative way, but I could use it in a positive way to get my point across, to get what I was going through out. Because what trauma is, you could allow trauma to go through you, or you could allow trauma to use you. And back
mm,
then, I was allowing trauma to use me, but now I
wow.
allow that negative energy to go through me, right? Through
Mhm.
expressing myself and allowing my words to build my world, not to tear it down. But back then, I was using my words to tear myself down and using my behaviors to tear myself down. And I realized that if I just if I could come out of this on the other side by the help of God, because He's the one that got me through this. Especially when my mom died, I quit drinking, and then
Okay.
my dad died 6 months after her, and that really
Mhm.
turned my life around because I started tapping into mentors, coaches, and really going to church and locking down on my thoughts and my identity and my beliefs, and changing the way that I thought.
Okay. So let me ask you this. You said after your parents died, that was the turning point in your life. It kind of helped you to break the cycle. Um,
Yes.
and you discovered poetry. Tell us a little bit about, you went through like mentorship and things like that. You said. So tell us,
Mhm.
how did you first discover poetry? Was it through the mentorship?
No, when I first discovered poetry was at the age of 7. I would
Okay.
my father introduced me to Dr. Seuss books, and I was really into Dr. Seuss because I would go when my parents would leave me at my grandfather's house, and what would happen to me, and when they would come pick me up, they'll bring me back to the house. When they would bring me back to the house, I would go and read my Dr. Seuss books and go in the basement, go in the basement in my room and just I would read and read
Mm,
Dr. Seuss books, pages and pages of it, and then I started to write what I was reading. So I would just copy some of the words out of the Dr. Seuss books, and that's when I started to learn how to rhyme, and I
um,
just started mixing my story into the rhythm and rhymes of what Dr. Seuss was teaching me.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So
So,
I would go and I would, some of the things that was going on with me, I would just write about it, but in a way that Dr. Seuss would write about it, in an informative way.
right. That is
Yeah.
awesome. I think that's a good way for you to express what you were going through, express your pain. And for someone who's out there right now who is struggling with expressing their pain, what advice would you give to them in terms of using writing to help them with healing? Where do they start? Where would they start?
My advice to give to them was to just grab a piece of paper and a pen and write one
Hmm.
word that
Wow.
just describes who you are and who you are not. That's what I would. Let me
That's
say that again. I would grab a piece of paper and a pen and describe who you are and who you are not with one word.
wow. And then you kind of just go from there.
To go from there and pick something,
Wow.
a book that you really like, and find two quotes in it that you really love that gives you inspiration and motivation to get out of whatever you're going through. There's one word that really that got to me. One word that I usually think about is word. The word is powerful, and the word could build your world or it could tear you down. What
Hmm.
you say to yourself. And I realized that a lot of the quotes in Dr. Seuss books was him building kids up and building people up.
Gotcha. I love how you said you use the word as a means of being inspiration, the word that can really build you up. Because words have power. They have meaning. They're impactful. So let me ask you this. Do you remember the first poem that you wrote that really was that breakthrough moment for you? And what was it about?
Uh, the first poem I wrote was blue fish, catfish, two fish, blue fish. Yeah, it was that one. And why that impacted my life was that what Dr. Seuss did, and when I would copy after what he wrote, I would write that. I would just copy that poem, and what was so intriguing to me about that poem is how he turned the simple things into inspiration. Let me say that again. How he turned the most simplest things into inspiration. For example, you could have a you could allow the world to give you a bitter heart, or you could allow the
Mhm.
world to give you a better heart, right? And the
Right.
difference, what's the difference between bitter and better? It's just one simple letter. If you change the I to an E, now you went from a bitter heart to a better heart. And if you could change one thing in your life, one simple letter, you can make your life even better.
I love that. I
And I
love
just
that.
did
That's
what Dr. Seuss would do. He would change one letter and change your whole life. He was like, he would start just like this. He was like, I know you have a bitter heart, but change the I to an E, and you can have a better heart.
mhm.
That
Mhm.
simple.
Right. You're right. It is simple, and
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I never thought of before until you mentioned it, like how you could just change one letter in a word, and it could change your mindset, change your circumstances. And I think it speaks to the point of not allowing us to let our circumstances determine who we are. And I'm borrowing that from someone that I heard speak yesterday. He gave a speech at a Black History event, and he was saying that speech was told to him by his father, who
Wow.
had been incarcerated and been through a lot of things. but he also used reading while he was incarcerated to kind of liberate himself and change his life around and change his son's life around. And now his son is a very well-known attorney out there. And this was, as I said, paraphrasing from him, that he utilized the phrase, changing your circumstances, not allowing your circumstances to determine, who you are, who is going to be the better you, right?
Absolutely, because your
Thank you for sharing that.
circumstances is not your final destination.
That's
Your
right.
circumstances is not your final destination. You're just passing through to a better you.
Right. Absolutely. I think oftentimes we get stuck in the circumstances, and when we get stuck in the circumstances, we're not able to see that, hey, there's more to the story. We have the ability to determine what the next steps are. But in order to do that, we need tools. And for you, that was utilizing poetry. And I just wanted to shift a little bit and talk about New Life Poetry Live. Tell us a little bit about that. I know you founded that.
I started. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Tell us what you do.
I started that when my mom, before my mom passed away. I started writing poetry books. Started writing poetry books. They're specifically for people in addiction, in their recovery, and they're for young adults to stay away from alcohol and drugs, and help them learn how to express themselves through the power of words. So I wrote my first book called New Life when my mom died, and it's basically that poetry book is about me seeing the light and coming out the darkness and being able to use words to shine the light on who I truly was. So I started to write books, and I started workshops to help young at-risk youth with anger management, and helping them with mindfulness, and helping them discover their destiny through the purpose of writing words and speaking words, because your mind is always around the corner listening to your mouth. Let me say that again, because your mind is always around the corner listening to your mouth. So that's something that I want people to be aware of in the books that I write, in the workshops that I bring for the youth and the people in addiction and recovery, to let them know that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. What is thereof? Thereof is whatever, every thought is a seed, every word is a seed, and every deed is a seed, and you are always planting in the future. You are always planting seeds in the garden of your future, and you have the ability to determine what type of seeds you plant out of your mouth. So my workshops is to help build people in recovery up, get them into full restoration, and help them proceed in their own unique transformation, because everybody's transformation looks different, right?
Right. That's right. Oh, go ahead. I was agreeing with you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But everyone's uniquely different but the same, right? We might go through the same things, and we might have came out on the other side uniquely different, but still impactful, not just to the world but to your world, because if you can't change your world, you can't change the world. So we got to focus on changing our world first. And it starts with a simple letter. If you could just subtract the L out of the word world, it says the word word. And if you learn how to use your words, you could build your type of world, whatever that world is. I built a world around poetry. Somebody else could build their world around art.
Right.
Everyone has a different type ability, but they have to be able to respond the right way to life, and not allow life to bring them down, but to allow life to be a stepping stone to their destiny.
So you also help people to self-publish.
Yeah.
And I think that's, go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
No, I was saying you help people to self-publish.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. I've been helping people self-publish for like 3 years now. I help people get their thoughts out of their head onto paper. So
okay.
so I help people self-publish their books, and I help a lot of people always have this question. I don't know where to start. Where do I start? So I walk them through the process of where to start and how to start, and walk them step by step through the process. And I help adults in recovery write their books and tell their stories. But I'm gonna get more into helping young adults and youth to tell their story and write their books. Why? For we can start them some passive income before they get older, and they can have an outlet. They can make an impact and make income.
Right. Right. I think that's important to empower the youth to tell their story or just to get them into something positive that they can make income off of. I agree with that. I think what you're doing is very powerful. Um, what do you think was your biggest challenge that you faced on your journey to recovery?
Say it one more time.
What do you think was your biggest challenge that you faced on your journey to
Oh,
recovery?
my biggest challenge was dealing with my thoughts and be
Mm,
able to my self talk and changing my self talk and really
right.
focusing my thoughts on positive thinking instead of
Mm,
negative thinking, and killing those
mhm.
ants in my head. You know what they
Yeah.
call them, like I forgot what author that was, but he said answers automatic negative thoughts, and really
Right.
challenging my thoughts and challenging the things that's coming out of my mouth. That
Right.
was my biggest challenge.
That is powerful right there. It's your self-talk and being able to know when it's negative and transition it into being positive. And I like when you brought up the ants, the automatic negative thoughts, because those happen automatically. We have so many thoughts running through our minds, and most of them are negative. And when we talked about earlier, utilizing mindfulness as a coping skill for others, that helps us to not only recognize those thoughts, but be able to focus on the present so those thoughts aren't controlling us and controlling our emotions. So I love that you brought that up because that is key. These thoughts happen automatically, but we need to have some skill like mindfulness to help us stop them and not focus on them and allow them to be destructive in our lives. Um so I have a question for someone listening who may be struggling with addiction, like you did, the loss of a family member, like you did, or trauma, like you did. What message would you like to share with them to offer them some hope today?
The message I would like to share with them is you got to slow down to speed up. And a lot of times our mind is trying to speed up, but if we can slow our thoughts down and not beat ourselves up so much, because
Okay, so I definitely think that what you said is indeed true. Knowing when to slow down our thoughts is important. Um Being able to practice mindfulness allows us to do that. It allows
and
us
then
to go ahead.
and then I would say I would tell them to take it one day at a time. Don't beat
Hmm.
yourself up because you may knock yourself out. And if you knock
Right.
yourself out, then you can't change your life because you're not coherent to do it. And a lot of
Right.
times when I was in my drug addiction and alcoholism, most of the time I was the walking dead. I wasn't even here. I was sleeping. I was walking around a walking zombie. was sleeping half of the time. But the only way to change your life is to choose your life.
Mm.
Let me say that again. The only way to change your life is to choose your life, because whatever you're not changing, you are choosing.
Right.
And if you're not choosing, you're losing. And if you're losing, you're headed for a bruising. But you got to keep moving.
Wow. Gotta keep moving. And with that, tell us, what are you moving on to? What's next for you? What's next for New Life Poetry Live? Any upcoming events or projects or workshops that you're excited about that you want to let us know about?
I'm excited about this workshop I'm gonna be doing at the youth center in Cleveland, Ohio. I just had a meeting the other day, and I'm gonna be going in there doing workshops for the at-risk youth at the residential center. They live there, and got a 6-week program that I'm gonna go in there, and we're going to build a relationship together, and we're gonna empower these kids with the word.
Nice. I love it. I love it. Now, I got a couple more questions for you.
Okay, cool.
And that will bring us to our end. So this has been a really great conversation. The first question I have for you is, this podcast is really about, and you pretty much talked about it, your journey, how you were able to reclaim your life. And that's what this podcast is about. It's about reclaiming your life and redefining your legacy. And that's exactly what you did. And so while you hearing me say this, reclaiming your life and redefining your legacy, what does that how does that phrase resonate with you?
This phrase resonate with me. You can look at your wounds, or you can use your scars to build. To build. You can look at your wounds, or you can use your scars to build. What do I mean by that? I mean that you could keep digging into your wounds, or you could allow yourself to heal and start to build off of the scars that was left. For you can help other people climb up the hill with you instead of by themselves.
Wow. Talking about support, the importance of support. Digging into a wounds doesn't reopen and re-victimize ourselves, or allowing it to heal and redefine ourselves and keep moving forward. I love it.
Absolutely. So and then another point I want to touch on is you can't heal it unless you feel it. You can't heal it unless you feel it. And I always say this in one of my poems. I said, stop allowing devils to give you band-aids. Stop allowing demons to give you a band-aid. Because it's time to heal. But you can't heal if you haven't revealed your true self to your real self. And the more that we get to look at ourselves, the more that we can edify ourselves and empower ourselves. Because you have to encourage yourself, and that's what I'm teaching young people and adults in their recovery, is to allow themselves to express themselves in the form of writing and performance and open and spoken word, to be able to encourage themselves when no one else is around. Because you have to encourage yourself too. You got to edify yourself and speak to yourself in great ways.
Well, Piere, that you have dropped a lot of pearls on us, a lot of tools for us today. It was amazing hearing you speak and share and talk about how poetry can be can be utilized as a real healing tool for us, how our words can uplift us. And when we think about our history and we think about our ancestors, how words were meaningful to us on this Black History Month, how their words empowered them, how their words allowed them to keep moving forward, even though they were going through a struggle and a pain. those words that they shared and they passed down through generations really inspired and motivated them. And here you are again, as I said, in this Black History Month, telling us and sharing how words are powerful, how it can be used to uplift or it can be used to destroy. And today, because of our experiences, we're trying to use those words to not only uplift ourselves, but to uplift others. And you made that very, very clear with what you shared with us today. So thank you for that. And please tell us, listen, where can we find you? Okay. How can we connect with you? How can we learn more? If I want to, get started on writing a book, if I want to get started on poetry or publishing or whatever, or just be around you for support, how can I connect with you?
You can connect with me on IG. Is actually at my first name, lowercase p, IERE, Piere Ingram. That's my Instagram. That's my Instagram right there, at Piere Ingram. P, lowercase p, IERE, INGRAM. Piere Ingram. Or my website is newlifepoetry.live. Newlifepoetry.live, or on my Facebook page is Piere Ingram. And you could connect with me on there, or you could follow my books on Amazon. One of my books is
Yes.
called From Addiction to Attraction: A Road to Recovery.
Yes, I meant to ask you about that earlier. That where can we purchase your books? Now, how many books do you have out?
5.
Nice. Y'all heard it here. He's got 5 books. I need you
But the
guys to
most
go out.
important thing, the, the most important thing is I helped 6 people write their own books. Like, the
Nice.
most important thing is impacting other people to do things that was complicated for them now. And I broke down the process simple for them, for they can get what took them 15 years to do. We can do it in 90 days or less,
Wow.
with no
That is
pressure.
awesome.
No pressure, no trying to figure it out yourself, and you
Hmm.
get to keep most of your royalties, and go out there and impact other people with your story, because your story is God's glory, and someone's waiting to hear you, what you've been through and how you got out of that. And we can't be selfish. Go and share your story and be somebody else's light today.
Nice. I love that. That's, I think, mic drop. Mic drop. Thank you, Pierre. Thank you so much for coming to Set Yourself Free Life podcast, agreeing to be here to share your story and to empower and inspire the audience. I loved everything that you shared. And guys, I need you guys to go out and connect with Pierre on Instagram, on Facebook, and on his website. If you would tell us that again, and then we'll go from
It's
there.
New Life Poetry Live. It's newlifepoetry.live. It's
Okay.
newlifepoetry.live. Newlifepoetry.live. Or my Instagram is at Piere Ingram. My first name and my last name. P, lowercase p, IERE, lowercase INGRAM. And I have a lot of poem videos on there, teaching people, and I just share my story and helping other people, and sharing with them step by step how I got out of it and how they can get out of what they're going through.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. So, guys, we had an incredible conversation with Pierre. His story was a powerful reminder that no matter how deep our pain is, no matter how heavy our past is, transformation is possible. Pierre didn't just overcome his struggles, he turned them into fuel for his purpose, helping others find their voices and heal through poetry. It's a powerful thing. If today's episode is resonating with you, take a moment to reflect on how you can channel your own pain into something meaningful, how you can be impactful in someone else's life, whether it's through writing, speaking, or simply sharing your story with someone who needs to hear it. Your experiences have the power to inspire and to change. Again, be sure to check out Pierre's work at NewLifePoetryLive and connect with him for resources on self-expression and healing. And as always, if you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to check out setyourselffree.io and listen to this current episode and share it with someone else, because you never know what we shared today, how it can be impactful and help someone else's life. As he said, don't keep that knowledge to yourself, share it. You know, we say all the time, knowledge is power, but it ain't powerful if we don't use it. So we got to make sure we use it and share it with others. I want to say a special thank you to the HELLO LLC, who was out here, who has been sponsoring this event. Y'all need to check them out as well. Check out the HELLO LLC. This is their HELLO Plaza, where the Set Yourself Free podcast airs twice a month in the metaverse. And yeah, check them out. They do a lot of, they will be able to transform your business like they have done mine. You see how I have grown, and if you'd like to experience the same thing in your life as well, definitely check out the HelloLLC.io. And again, before we leave, I'm gonna leave my little AI motion with y'all to let y'all know more about Set Yourself Free. Until next time, remember to reclaim your life and redefine your legacy.
Welcome to Set Yourself Free Life Coaching. We guide women who are overwhelmed with being emotionally stuck to get unstuck, so they can reach new heights of their full potential. We believe that everyone has the power to create the life they desire, but sometimes we need a little help along the way. That's where we come in. We provide personalized coaching and support to help you overcome your obstacles and achieve your goals. Our coaching program is based on the principles of positive thinking and self-empowerment. We believe that by changing your mindset, you can change your life. We will teach you how to identify and challenge your negative thoughts and replace them with positive ones. We will also help you develop a strong sense of self-worth and confidence. Together, we will create a personalized plan to help you reach your goals. We will work with you on your specific challenges and provide you with the support and motivation you need to succeed. If you are ready to break free from the past and create the life you deserve, then contact us today. We would be honored to help you on your journey.